maybe something else is going on. How do we play this? I want to bring in Lee Munson, Chief Investment Officer, Portfolio Wealth Advisors, and back with us is David Nelson. Lee, first I wanted your assessment. This is a crazy week. We're up, we were down. We did show some resolve. We made a 1,000-point reversal off the low Wednesday into yesterday, but then we gave a lot of it back today.
I'm not too concerned because as you were talking before, I look at the close of the day. Have we closed on the S&P lower than February 8th? No, we have not. I'm not concerned. Here's what the fear is. We have earnings next week. The consensus is looking at something ridiculous like 12 or 13% earnings growth for the year. I only need 8 to make this market work for me and my investors. I think that there's some fear that we're going to have CEOs talk about tariffs or make excuses for their poor execution of their business plan and blame somebody else for it. If we get a couple big names, have some disappointments, it really could bring this market down. But I'll tell you, if I see 2,500 on the S&P, I'm going to be an even bigger buyer. I doubt that's going to happen.
David?
I'm going to follow up on what he's just saying here. I think, earnings are going to be pretty strong next week. I was just actually looking at J.P. Morgan's before I come in here. They report next Friday staggering growth from last year to this year. If they can hit those numbers, that might help calm some of the fears. We're going to have to wait till next Friday because there's really nobody before then other than Delta.
I like the point Lee brought up, though, with the companies that miss. Because often we see management try to drag an entire industry under the bus to make up for their own shortcoming.
Well, that's part of what CEOs do. They have to defend their turf. I don't know if there's something else out there that people are looking for. We got enough on our plate right now. There was enough today to rattle everybody, but I was encouraged that we did not break that low.
But could there be something under the surface, right? The tariffs, the tariffs weren't news. None of this was news. When we announced the $50 billion, that wasn't news, and when China had counteracted, that wasn't news. So could that have been a smokescreen for another reason for selling?
Probably the biggest risk for this market, it's not the Fed, it's not even China trade, it's the Mueller investigation for me. This market loves this president. Despite what happened with trade, these stocks, the rollback of regulation, all that is good for stocks. Anything that gets into the White House from Mueller might change that.
No, Lee, I think the economy loves this president. I think the market loves this president, but I don't think Wall Street does when he starts to step on some of the more globalist things like the so-called free trade. Reconcile that for us, because they, in my mind, have played a big role in the selling, and I think part of it was a deliberate attempt to push around the White House.
I think they're going to have to get beyond themselves and kind of get over themselves. This is about all bark, no bite. Why would we have Larry Kudlow go in and work in that White House if we weren't here to negotiate? So I think people are taking this way too seriously. I think that we're thinking that Trump is some loose cannon, is going to do all this crazy stuff. I think that they're underestimating the long game here. Trump does not want to see this market fail. And for anybody who really thinks that we're going to get into a full-scale trade war and bring this market down 10 or 20%, I think that they need to change what they're smoking.
Well, we're halfway there.
That was the low that Lee talked about, the low that we made. That was the 10% correction that day. And often you have to retest it, but we've retested it twice already, so we'll see what happens.
Yeah, let's check it out.
Gentlemen, thank you both very much. Always appreciate your energy and your expertise.